Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we dive into Dare to Lead by Brené Brown, a renowned research professor at the University of Houston. This insightful 2018 book pulls from Brown's extensive background in courage and empathy research, as well as her own experiences as a leadership coach, to offer a roadmap for finding the inner courage that's essential for leading exceptional teams. Dare to Lead tackles the complexities of leadership in a competitive modern environment, focusing on how leaders can harness their emotions and overcome the fear of failure. Through innovative research and personal narratives, Brown provides actionable strategies for anyone looking to step up and lead with confidence and authenticity. This book is an invaluable resource for business psychology enthusiasts, leaders in need of a revitalized approach to team connection, and anyone eager to cultivate courage in their professional lives. Join us as we explore how to transform vulnerabilities into leadership strengths, making it possible to achieve daring and empathetic leadership in any arena. Brené Brown, also the author of the New York Times bestseller Daring Greatly, and featured in one of the top 5 most viewed TED Talks ever, The Power of Vulnerability, brings her expertise and profound insights into every page of Dare to Lead. Let's discover how to lead fearlessly and foster an environment of innovation and respect. Join us. Dare to Lead. Brave work, tough conversations, whole hearts. Introduction. Embrace your vulnerability, the true essence of leadership. Around the globe, leaders, whether team heads in Toronto or startup founders in Singapore, are grappling with a fundamental question. How can I become a more effective leader? Is it through tightening control, boasting prestigious titles, or exerting authority? Surprisingly, none of these factors mark the true essence of influential leadership. Instead, the journey to profound leadership is paved with honesty, vulnerability, and authentic values. Contrary to conventional views, great leadership doesn't revolve around power tactics or authoritative dominance. It centers on emotional transparency and courage, embracing vulnerability, fostering trust, and embodying your core values are the keystones of effective leadership. In Dare to Lead by Brené Brown, a piece celebrated on the New York Times bestseller list, the spotlight is on leveraging personal values, emotional resilience, and robust interpersonal connections to elevate your leadership impact. This narrative invites you to a transformative approach to leadership, one that champions emotional agility over authoritarian might. Part 1. Vulnerability, the unsung hero of courage and innovation. What stirs feelings of vulnerability within you? Renowned author Brené Brown has posed this very question to thousands across her career. Common responses include nerve-wracking first dates post-divorce, embarking on an entrepreneurial journey, or the unsettling moment of a job loss. These scenarios epitomize vulnerability, a universal and profoundly human emotion experienced during risk and uncertainty. Yet there's a widespread misconception about vulnerability, often mistakenly labeled as a weakness. This couldn't be further from the truth. No empirical evidence supports the notion of vulnerability as a frailty. Rather, it's a precursor to acts of bravery. Without the willingness to be vulnerable, courageous acts would be unattainable. Still skeptical? Consider Brené Brown's interaction with a group of Special Forces military personnel in 2014. She described vulnerability as an inherent part of facing risks and uncertainties. Challenging these seasoned soldiers, she asked if anyone could recall a courageous act devoid of vulnerability. The response? Absolute silence. None could cite bravery without the shadow of vulnerability. This realization shatters the myth linking vulnerability to weakness and instead positions it as essential to courage. More so, vulnerability is fundamental to human creativity and innovation. The essence of creativity involves unpredictability and the inevitable risk of failure. Such risks demand vulnerability. If a culture mistakenly equates vulnerability with weakness, it stifles the very willingness to innovate. The fear of failure impedes generating novel ideas or perspectives. Embracing vulnerability enables individuals to transcend the fear of failure, fostering an environment where innovation can thrive. Reflecting on the importance of vulnerability, Golden Globe winning actress and writer Amy Poehler remarked on the challenge and necessity of allowing oneself to be vulnerable. Those who embrace this state are often the visionaries, the thinkers, and the creators of society. They understand that vulnerability is not a flaw, but a gateway to discovery and real human connection. Part 2. Leading with Transparency. The Power of Honest Feedback. Imagine the early days of a new venture, where every decision seems pivotal. It was during this critical time that Brené Brown, founder and leader, found herself receiving unexpected feedback from her team. They highlighted her poor time management skills and her propensity for setting unrealistic deadlines, which were challenging for everyone to meet. Although tough to hear, this feedback was invaluable. Brené appreciated their honesty, embracing the principle that transparency is a form of kindness. This scenario underscores a vital truth for leaders everywhere. Being clear is akin to being kind. A culture of openness where feedback is given and received with honesty can significantly transform both personal interactions and professional engagements. Yet, many shy away from this approach. Research suggests that most individuals avoid clear, direct communication, mistakenly believing it's gentler to withhold truth. The reality, however, contrasts sharply with this belief. By sidestepping direct conversations, we not only nurture misunderstandings, but also potentially set others up for failure, blaming them later for not meeting unclear expectations. Effective communication is more than just delivering messages. It's about fostering an environment where open discussions about feelings and fears are encouraged. Brené Brown's extensive research into leadership dynamics reveals that addressing and exploring team members' emotional states can preempt a host of unproductive behaviors. Conversely, ignoring these crucial conversations often leads to ineffective management and workplace frustration. Engaging in genuine dialogue involves more than asking questions. It requires active listening. When inquiring about team members' deeper concerns, leaders should practice patience, allowing for pauses and silences that might initially feel awkward. These moments, though uncomfortable, are golden opportunities for team members to share their genuine thoughts and feelings. Once this dialogue begins, it's crucial for leaders to focus solely on listening, resisting the urge to immediately formulate responses. This intense focus on understanding reflects respect and gratitude for the team's willingness to be transparent. Thus, leaders should not only initiate but also nurture these conversations, demonstrating that honest feedback is not just accepted but valued. This approach not only improves relationships but also drives a company's success by building a foundation of trust and mutual respect. Part 3. Values, your compass in the arena of leadership. The contemporary workplace can sometimes resemble a modern-day Colosseum, a place not of physical combat but of metaphorical clashes where determination, courage, and resilience are tested. In such competitive and high-stress environments, it's not uncommon to feel overwhelmed and consider stepping away from the challenges. Yet, what if there was a way to not only endure but thrive in these trying times? The solution lies in our core values. Imagine yourself momentarily defeated, lying in the proverbial dust of the workplace arena. It's here that your values play a crucial role, urging you to rise and engage once more with vigor and purpose. These values aren't just theoretical concepts. They act as a powerful motivator, propelling you forward when the going gets tough. Values are more than moral guidelines. They represent what is supremely important to us. This was a key finding in Brené Brown's research, where she discovered that the most daring leaders are those acutely aware of their values. During periods filled with uncertainty and vulnerability, these leaders employed their values as a North Star, a guiding light through the darkness, ensuring they never stray from their true path. Moreover, firm in their convictions, these leaders confidently take risks, comforted by the knowledge that their actions are aligned with their deepest beliefs and integrity. So, let's pause and reflect. What are your fundamental values? Initially, you might list several qualities that resonate with you. However, aim to identify your top two core values. Brené Brown, for instance, focuses on courage and faith as her guiding principles. Through her extensive interviews with prominent leaders worldwide, she found that while many can enumerate a plethora of values, the most authentic and courageous leaders narrowed their focus to just a couple. The rationale? Two key values are manageable and can actively influence decisions and actions. A lengthy list, though impressive, often dilutes impact, reducing values to mere words that offer comfort but little real guidance. Challenge yourself to distill your values to two primary ones. Let these values be your steadfast companions, particularly when you face trials. They won't just guide your actions, they will define your leadership and your legacy in the annals of your career. Part 4. Building the bridge of trust in the workplace. Consider how trustworthy you perceive yourself to be. Quite a reflective question, isn't it? Now, think about the number of people you truly trust. Surprisingly, while many of us view ourselves as trustworthy, our circle of deeply trusted individuals tends to be small. This disparity highlights an area ripe for development, enhancing our capacity to trust others. Understanding trust begins with defining it precisely. Brené Brown, through extensive research, has identified 7 key behaviors that foster trust, forming the helpful acronym BRAVING, each letter representing a specific trust-building action. Starting with B for boundaries, this aspect is foundational in trust. It involves recognizing and respecting the limits each person sets. Uncertainty about boundaries? The solution is simple. Ask. Clarifying boundaries ensures mutual respect and understanding. The R stands for reliability. This trait requires consistency in actions and words. In professional settings, this means acknowledging our capabilities and limitations, thereby avoiding the pitfalls of overcommitting and underdelivering. A highlights accountability. We must own our mistakes, offer sincere apologies, and make efforts to rectify errors. This openness in acknowledging faults is crucial for maintaining trust. Next up is V for Vault. Imagine yourself as a safekeeper of confidential information. Trust necessitates discretion, ensuring that private information shared in confidence remains secure. I stands for integrity, characterized by choosing courage over comfort, opting for what is right over what is easy, and practicing the values we advocate for. N represents non-judgment. This behavior fosters an environment where individuals feel free to express genuine feelings or seek help without fear of judgment. Lastly, G stands for generosity. This involves extending the most generous interpretation to the actions, words, and motives of others. When people feel that their intentions are seen in a positive light, trust deepens. Remembering and implementing the principles within the BRAVING acronym can significantly enhance trust in your relationships, thereby elevating your leadership effectiveness. Trust isn't just a component of successful interactions. It's the cornerstone of every meaningful relationship in the workplace. Part 5. Mastering the Art of Resilience. Why learning to fail is integral to bravery. Imagine the sheer bravery of a skydiver, leaping out of an airplane and hurtling toward the earth. It's an exhilarating mix of fear and thrill, yet not as reckless as it seems. Skydivers undergo extensive training, including practical exercises like jumping from ladders to learn how to land safely. Interestingly, there's a valuable lesson here for business leaders. While the stakes in business aren't usually life-threatening, the concept of preparing for the fall, or failure, is just as crucial. In the world of business, resilience is often taught reactively, post-crisis, resembling more a corrective measure than a proactive strategy. Imagine only teaching a skydiver how to land properly mid-fall. Clearly, there's a mismatch in how preparedness is approached. Research suggests that integrating resilience training early in the developmental phase of leadership can significantly boost the likelihood of leaders acting courageously. The logic is straightforward. If leaders trust in their ability to recover from setbacks, they're more likely to take bold, innovative actions. Without this assurance, potential leaders might restrain their daring, limiting both personal and organizational growth. Critics might argue that focusing on failure and resilience from the outset sets a tone of low expectations. However, Brené Brown's approach in her own company debunks this notion. By emphasizing resilience skills as part of initial training, she communicates that while bravery is anticipated and celebrated, occasional failure is expected and acceptable. This proactive stance on resilience isn't about promoting failure, but rather about reinforcing a culture where rapid recovery and learning from setbacks are valued. Embodied in the popular adages fall forward and fail fast. However, without a solid foundation in resilience, such slogans can ring hollow, potentially exacerbating the feelings of inadequacy post-failure. When leaders are equipped with tools to handle and recover from failures effectively, they experience less shame and rebound more quickly. Thus, rather than merely encouraging leaders to embrace failure, organizations must ensure they are also providing the necessary support to navigate these failures, thereby fostering a truly resilient workforce. This comprehensive approach to resilience cultivates not only braver leaders but also more robust organizations. Part 6. Breaking free from perfectionism to embrace true courage. From our earliest days, we develop mechanisms to shield ourselves from the vulnerabilities of life: disappointment, pain, and the fear of not being enough. One of the most fortified walls we construct in this endeavor is built from our behaviors, emotions, and thoughts, crafted meticulously to keep the perceived dangers of the world at bay. However, to lead and live courageously, as we've already uncovered, we must dismantle these barriers and expose ourselves to the very vulnerabilities we fear. This path leads us through the thickets of our deeply ingrained protective mechanisms, notably one of the most common: perfectionism. Perfectionism is often disguised under the guise of self-improvement or a quest for excellence, but its true nature is far from it. At its core, perfectionism isn't about setting high standards but about seeking approval. It stems from environments where exceptional performance is excessively praised. This form of validation teaches perfectionists to base their worth on achievements and the flawless execution of tasks, continually propelling them into a cycle of people-pleasing, perfecting, performing, and proving. This relentless pursuit differs significantly from a healthy ambition for success, which is inwardly driven by self-set goals and personal metrics of improvement. Perfectionists, contrarily, are outwardly tethered, constantly plagued by the question, "What will others think of me?" Moreover, the shadow of perfectionism extends beyond an exhausting behavioral pattern. Research links it to debilitating conditions like addiction, depression, and anxiety. Perfectionists, trapped by their own impossibly high standards, often miss out on opportunities and experience a mental paralysis that hinders active engagement in life's arena. It's in this arena where robust competition and authentic striving for greatness thrive. Thus, to ascend to the ranks of daring leadership, It is essential to shed the armor of perfectionism, dive headlong into the complexities of life, where making mistakes is not only probable, but necessary for growth. This bold leap is not just about risking failure, it's about gaining the invaluable reward of genuine courage, the courage needed to succeed and lead effectively. Embracing our imperfections and allowing ourselves to learn from each fall, we find our true strength not in perfection, but in our resilient human spirit. Final summary. Vulnerability is not just an emotional state, it's a powerful catalyst for growth, courage, and creativity. By accepting and embracing our vulnerabilities, we unlock a profound capacity for transformation both personally and professionally. Letting go of the shackles of perfectionism and the dread of failure frees us to pursue self-improvement and engage in meaningful dialogues that are essential for progress. Leadership demands more than just strength. It requires the courage to be open and vulnerable. Recognizing the importance of every emotion, understanding that each one has its place and purpose, is pivotal in shaping resilient and daring leaders. The journey of leadership is rich with opportunities for growth, provided we are willing to step into the arena with our whole selves, equipped with our beliefs, values, and an openness to experiences. Through vulnerability, we find the courage to lead authentically and inspire true innovation and change. And thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.